This is some more of that scruffy English yew that I showed in the previous video. Now, I tend to work a bit randomly. I'll start on something, then if it takes my fancy, I'll carry on with it, or I might flip onto something else. But in doing that yew, I had a couple of billets, and I thought, well, I'll see how they clean up and if they're going to glue up okay, and what the wood's like. I also often tend to work the worst wood first, because if I mess it up and it explodes, it doesn't really matter. And it gives me a feel for what the wood's like and what it'll do. So anyway, this is the two billets that I've spliced up. And there's a couple of interesting bits that I'll show you in a minute. But the thing to note is this lower limb has a bit of natural deflex. So it doesn't look right at the minute. It's at a very low break. There's a little bit of tension on that string. You can see it. You can see I've had it up to £80 already. I'm not even sure quite what I want out of it in terms of draw weight and draw length. The guy who gave me the yew, he wants a bow, but I don't suppose he wants a spliced billet one. But I might make this one such that it would suit him if he wanted it, and so on and so forth. But really, I'm just fiddle-arsing about. Let's just have a shufty. So bear in mind that deflex on that left limb tip. Now I still think it's got the same issue it had earlier on. Right, I've left it fairly stiff at the middle because of the splice. It's a 4.5 inch Z splice. There's a big nasty knot there, and to me it looks slightly weak there and slightly stiff here. There, I was pulling it to 60 there. I have pulled it to 80 already. I need to be getting the tips coming round some more, and I need to be getting it braced. There we are, there's 70. You can see it's difficult to see because the knots tend to pull the eye a bit. Right, that was about 70. I think it's certainly working there. So I'll show you some of the issues. It'll be easier if I take the camera down. Here's a quick peek down the bow. Now this is that area that's bending noticeably, and you'll see it had a big knot here, and it opened out this side, so I sort of pegged it from this side. This side was much cleaner, so I drilled it, just cleaned it out the drill fairly clean, then pegged it from this side. So you've got sort of two overlapping repairs. Well, you've actually got a bit of epoxy and yew dust, then the peg that was put in from this side, then the peg that came right through from the back. You see I've left extra width there, but the question is there enough sapwood there to stop the back of the bow exploding? Or do I take out a shallow scoop and overlay some sapwood, sort of pre-repair it if you like, repair it before it goes bang? Well, I don't know is the short answer. I could do all sorts of arithmetic and say, well, I've got 3/4 of the width of the sapwood compared to what I've got elsewhere, and blah-de-blah, but no amount of maths will either make it break or stop it breaking. So I'll just sort of see how I feel, I suppose. Got a similar little knot here which goes right through, which I've plugged and left slightly proud because that'll look quite pretty. I think that's so near the end as to be pretty irrelevant, but I'll let the bow swell out there for a bit of character. Let's have a look at the Z splice. Not sure, I don't know how well that's showing up. Let's move the light about a bit, see if that helps. Yeah, it's quite a nice splice. Like I say, 4.5 inches. It's a little longer than I normally do. I have had the odd splice fail, and I thought, well, perhaps I'll be doubly safe. And I'm leaving it nice and deep here. I'm trying to get the tiller more like a Victorian longbow, say, a bit of extra bend at the tips, you know, just slightly elliptical rather than complete arc or a circle. I'll show you down the bow again, and you can see that deflex at the end. It's almost tempting to heat that out just to make it look a bit prettier. And the other main feature is, again, it's in the same limb as the other knot. It's this, it's sort of got a bit of burr. It was quite a large cavity, but I tend to fill them early, then as you work the bow down a lot of it disappears, so a lot of that's gone, but that'll look quite pretty when it's polished up. As per usual, the tips are very overbuilt at the minute and rather thick, and this shows you one of the reasons why. With that taut string on, I can see how the string line fits, and in fact I need the string over to this pencil line, so I've got to take some wood off this edge. Originally the tip was about this wide, so I've already taken some off this edge to bring it across, but I always leave them wide to start with. But you'll see she's coming back quite a long way on the tiller now, certainly ready for a brace. But the question is, what's the final draw weight? Do I need to repair that before it goes bang? Because if that goes bang, that's just the end of the bow. Although the lower limb would be usable again. I'm blethering a bit really, but it's just for the fun of, what I really want to do is make a bow out the English Yew, just so I can post it and say, look, English Yew makes a perfectly usable bow. There you go. It's quite long, by the way. I've cut it down. I originally left it at about 80 inches. I like to have my billets about 4 foot long. It gives me plenty of room for a nice long splice. There you go, 76. So I've left some extra length to allow for the fact that she's not going to flex much in the grip. And bows always flex in the grip, even if you've got a huge thick riser, there's always a tiny bit of movement. But hopefully that will be alright. It's not the prettiest wood. I mean, there's some of this bluey grey discoloration. There's bits where you can't really see what's heartwood and what's sapwood. Nice little character dip there. That'll be quite interesting when it starts to get shaped up. I've had to fill a few knots. I mean, that one I haven't filled, I might do. It comes out there. But because it comes out, oh no, it doesn't actually come out. That might be worth digging out in case there's a cavity under there. There you go, that'll do for now.